Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Carla Thornton, a council member in Moreno Valley. It is my honor as a 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force and as one of the city council members to serve this wonderful city to welcome all of you to the City of Moreno Valley's Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony. The development of Moreno Valley from the time before our incorporation has been deeply influenced by the presence of March Air Reserve Base and the members of our armed forces who serve there. It is the history and that influence that has heightened our awareness of recognizing the sacrifices made by our service members and their families. It has been over 150 years since Memorial Day was first observed in our beloved country. For more than 150 years, we have taken steps to ensure that our fallen warriors are honored for their sacrifices. These honors and remembrances are ingrained in military tradition. Every Memorial Day observance, every POW MIA table is set at a military ball. Every poppy handed out today is a tradition meant to continue to honor the memory of those who answered the call to serve their country and did not make it home. Each and every one of you who took time out of your day to be here is helping to uphold those traditions and honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And I thank you for keeping those worthy traditions alive by being here today. Officiating today's ceremony is Dr. Extian Gutierrez, Mayor of Moreno Valley. Please join me in giving Mayor Gutierrez a warm welcome to guide us through this morning's ceremony.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to first thank Carla for the opening remarks. And as we begin our program this morning to honor our fallen heroes in memory, I would like to ask that we please stand as I invite Pastor Jeff White from Sandals Church to lead us in invocation.
Good morning. Let's pray together. God, we're grateful for today that we can set aside time to just to remember, God. Thank you for this morning and the weather that broke so that we could enjoy this morning together. And God, as we think of the sacrifice that folks have given for our freedom, God, today we hopefully we can celebrate that, but we can also just sit in that and understand what a sacrifice it is. God, this morning, we pray for the families that have lost loved ones. God, we grieve with them and we want to support them. And so, God, we're grateful for them. And so today, as we go through this ceremony, God, just be with us. And we just pray that our military will be safe as they do what they do, God, around the country and around the world. And we are just grateful for them this morning. Thank you for your sacrifice, and we thank you for those that sacrifice their lives for us, God. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor White. So again, thank you, Pastor White. Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Blue Eagles Total Force Honor Guard, followed by the national anthem performed by Rancho Verde High School and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Frank Wright.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
I'd like to begin quickly here with a little essay from General Douglas MacArthur, the famous general of World War II, in his farewell address to West Point Academy in 1951. He states, "The soldier is a symbol of human liberty in the purest form devised. He is the center of hopes and aspirations and faith of the human race. He is a leaven which binds together the entire fabric of our national system of defense. He is above all people and prayers for peace, for he most suffers and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. And for that, he has enabled us to have freedom of religion, enabled us to have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, to assembly, and the right to fair of trial. For they gave up their tomorrows so that we may have our days ahead. For their code is duty, honor, and country." In his closing statement, the general said, "Old soldiers never die. They just fade away into the minds of the memories of those who knew so long." The Air Force flies their great machines down the runway and end up into the skies, protecting our nation every day throughout the world. And the sailors board their massive ships and leave port, sail over the waves and into the horizon, some never to be seen again. So I'd like to take this moment now to honor the colors of our flags with the deepest desire and devotion, Mr. and Miss America, that we, with a symbol, and recite after this, in words, the pledges of the United States. Beginning, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So at this time, as you may remember, every year, we like to honor a special speaker from a school. And usually these students, they are able to go to the East Coast and experience a lot of different things about our nation's history and visit cemeteries and really understand the history of our country. So at this time, I would like to welcome our special student speaker from Vista Heights Middle School, and this is Ayla Smith. Every year, select 8th grade students from Vista Heights Middle School here in Moreno Valley, right here, take a trip to the East Coast where they tour memorials, cemeteries, and much more. This trip has a profound impact on the students who travel, and Ayla will now speak with us about the way that she grew to think about the service and sacrifice after experiencing this trip. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ayla. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. I would like to start by thanking the teachers in school and city for having a program to teach the students about the United States history. I would also like to thank everyone who made the East Coast trip possible. I found a whole new understanding of Memorial Day. During the East Coast trip, I was lucky enough to befriend not only a veteran, but our tour guide, Steve Babiscus. Steve has a place in this speech because when he was fighting in Vietnam, he had a friend, McHenry. They flew together all the time. One day, though, Steve wasn't with him. McHenry ended up crashing and passing away. Steve now uses this day to remember his not only friend, but fellow fallen soldiers he fought with. I was able to, with great honor, lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. For those who honor this special day, did you know the Memorial Day, or Decoration Day, as it was known, started as a custom for decorating and cleaning grave sites? This practice was a duty fulfilled and performed in late summer during family picnics and family reunions. In 1971, Congress made Memorial Day a national holiday to be celebrated on the last Monday in May. After the Civil War, this patriotic ceremony became a symbol to honor our fallen soldiers and the military whom perished during the many foughten wars. The ceremony centered on the decoration of soldiers' graves anywhere in cities and towns throughout the nation. One of the most memorable symbols of the Memorial Day is the red poppy. It symbolizes the loss and new life. The red poppy was the first flower to grow on the war-torn battlefields. The poppy seeds scatter in the wind and only germinate when the ground is disturbed, like those on the warfields. After a poem named In Flanders Fields, written by a Canadian soldier, Don McCrae, was written, many people were inspired to wear poppies. This poem is something I would like to share with you today. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scars heard amid the guns below, we are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from falling hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. So let's go forth and remember those who have given their brave lives for the freedoms we share today. This speech is dedicated to all the fallen soldiers who now rest in peace, along with my great-grandfather, who is a veteran in the Vietnam War. Thank you.
That was so wonderful. Again, let's give Ayla Smith another wonderful round of applause. I'm so happy to know that we have youth here in Moreno Valley that are so eager to learn about our nation's history and everything that folks have actually gone and experienced and the sacrifices that they've made. And now, the Rancho Verde High School Chamber Choir will perform The Road Home. Please help me welcome these extremely talented singers from our very own city of Moreno Valley. Thank you again so much for that heartfelt musical tribute to our nation's heroes. Let's give them another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored to welcome Colonel Kerry Collis this morning as the featured speaker for today's ceremony. Colonel Collis is the Vice Commander for the 163rd Attack Wing on March Air Reserve Base. Colonel Collis has been with the 163rd since 1996, where she has received several promotions and awards. The Colonel is also very active in our community. She serves on the Military Affairs Committee with the Moreno Valley Chamber of Commerce, where she helps to strengthen the ties between the City of Moreno Valley, the people in the community, and the March Air Reserve Base. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Colonel Collis to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mayor Gutierrez, council members, distinguished visitors, guests. Thank you for being here on this day that's set aside to honor the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. I'm proud to represent the military and share a few thoughts with you on this very important day. As Ziala mentioned, today was originally known as Decoration Day. It originated in the years following the Civil War. The Civil War, which ended in the spring of 1865, claimed more lives than any conflict in U.S. history, and it led to the establishment of the country's first national cemeteries. General John Logan, a leader in a Civil War veterans organization, called for a day of remembrance. He chose May 30th because it was not the anniversary of any particular battle. The first Decoration Day included laying flowers and flags on the 20,000 graves of both Union and Confederate soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery. Communities started holding tributes and decorating graves in the late 1860s. Some towns would hold community-wide events and close businesses. After World War I, the day was expanded to commemorate American military personnel who died in all wars. Eventually, the day was renamed to Memorial Day, and in 1971, it became an official federal holiday. My unit, the 163rd Attack Wing, has 20 members who lost their lives in aviation-related incidents while performing military duty. They were fathers, sons, husbands, and a mother-to-be. Some were veterans coming to the Guard after serving on active duty. Others were Inland Empire natives who wanted to serve in the communities where they grew up. As citizen airmen, they had careers in the community. They were engineers, commercial pilots, salesmen, professionals. I'd like to take a moment and tell you about a few of our fallen warriors. 6 grizzly aviators lost their lives in 1952 while the unit was activated and stationed overseas for the Korean War. Major Joseph Sheldon Long, Jr. was one of these members. Like many of our citizen airmen, Major Long was an Inland Empire native who served in the community where he grew up. His father, a World War I veteran, served as Riverside's mayor from 1929 to 1933. Major Long was a Riverside Poly High School graduate. While in high school, he participated in the junior ROTC program. After high school, he attended RCC and Pomona College, where he studied government and economics. He then enlisted in the Army Air Corps at Marchfield as an aviation cadet and attended pre-flight and primary flight training. He completed his basic and advanced training in 1942. Major Long was reported missing in action April 7, 1952, during the unit's activation for the Korean War. He was flying a B-26 Invader during a night mission on target southeast of Yongju. Various reports said that Major Long's name was mentioned and his voice was heard in propaganda radio broadcasts in Korea. By the end of the war, the Air Force concluded that reports of his capture were probably true. He was awarded the Prisoner of War Medal and promoted to major. Major Long remains unaccounted for and is presumed dead. He turned 31 a week before he went missing. He is survived by his wife and 3 children. His name is etched in stone at the Riverside National Cemetery and in the Courts of the Missing at the Honolulu Memorial in Hawaii. Another Grizzly who was lost during the Korean War was Lieutenant Colonel Howard Galbraith. Colonel Galbraith came from one of the early pioneer families in the Chino and Pomona areas. His grandparents moved to the area in the late 1800s and opened grocery and general stores in Chino. His father, Leslie, served on the Chino City Council. Colonel Galbraith graduated from Chino High School and Pomona Junior College, and he also went on to enlist in the Army Air Corps as a military aviation cadet in May of 1941. After earning his wings, he served as an instrument instructor before deploying overseas. He flew 167 combat sorties in World War II. He separated from active duty in 1946. He then became a member of the 196th Fighter Squadron. He was the commander when the unit was activated in October 1950. As part of the activation, the unit was assigned under the 116th Fighter Bomb Group, and he was named the 116th Group Commander, leading the group during its deployment to Japan. Lieutenant Colonel Galbraith died on June 28, 1952, when his F-84 crashed in a field near Misawa Air Base, Japan. According to news reports, the jet started losing power immediately after takeoff. Colonel Galbraith was hailed for his efforts to maneuver the jet away from populated areas and retain the wingtip tanks, preventing further injury to others. 14 Grizzlies have died stateside in aircraft-related training accidents. The first was First Lieutenant Edward Thompson, Jr. He died March 14, 1947, in a P-51 Mustang crash while training over the Mojave Desert. At that time, he was part of the 196th Fighter Squadron located at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino. Prior to joining the 196th, he served as a pilot in the Army Air Corps during World War II. Lieutenant Thompson's personal decorations included an Air Medal, Asian Pacific Campaign Medal, and the European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal. During World War II, a P-51 pilot had a 45% chance of being shot down during the course of their 50-mission tour of duty. The Train Like You Fight requirement led to over 54,000 accidents in the U.S. over the course of World War II and accounted for 15,000 casualties. The last Grizzlies lost on duty happened 29 years ago. Major Robert Michael McGann and Captain Thomas Steed died June 13, 1990, during a training flight when their F-4 Phantom crashed near Death Valley. Both are buried in the Riverside National Cemetery. Advances in technology have made our jobs safer, but we will never forget those who preceded us. Without their service and their sacrifices, we could not do what we do or be who we are today. May we never forget our fallen warriors. Please join me in a moment of remembrance while I read the fallen Grizzly roll call. First Lieutenant Ed Thompson, Jr. Captain Billy Morris Latta. First Lieutenant William Herbert Stutt. First Lieutenant William R. Fleming. Major Warren H. Hamilton. First Lieutenant Jack L. Osborne. Major Joseph Sheldon Long, Jr. Captain Norman Lee Chapman. Lieutenant Colonel Howard Galbraith. First Lieutenant Philip H. Henry. Captain Robert E. Dixon. Second Lieutenant Gary Allen Thrall. Major Charles M. Upham III. First Lieutenant Randall Stephen Pryor, Captain David Miller, Captain Dean Paul Martin Jr., Captain Ramon Ortiz, Sergeant Sheila Willits, Major Robert Michael McGann, Captain Thomas Michael Steed. Thank you.
Thank you again to Colonel Colas. Thank you for being here today and for honoring our community by sharing your thoughts and for your service to our country as well. Let's give her another round of applause. The City of Moreno Valley is deeply grateful for the sacrifices made by the United States military and their families. To help recognize the sacrifice of service, the City Council established the Military Appreciation Banner and Paver Program. Today, I would like to recognize the following armed services personnel who have had a new banner or paver installed in their name. If your name is called, would you please stand so we can recognize you for your service? If you are the mother, father, sister, or brother of a banner or paver recipient who could not be here, please stand as well and remain standing in their honor. We have 3 individuals. We have Renee S. Rodriguez, serving in the U.S. Marine Corps. Marvin Ray Miller, serving in the U.S. Army. And Alberto Saul Ruiz, serving in the U.S. Army. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. You know, the cost of freedom is felt the deepest among families and friends of those who have paid the ultimate price. At this time, we recognize and remember our fallen heroes from Moreno Valley, who are remembered with banners surrounding this memorial. If any of the families of these fallen heroes are here today, I ask that you respectfully stand so we can honor your family who continues to pay the ultimate sacrifice through the loss of a loved one. Michael A. Dahl, Jr., U.S. Army. Michael P. Damon, U.S. Army. Clayton G. Dunn, II, U.S. Army. Reese Klasno, U.S. Army National Guard. Edwin B. Cutts, U.S. Army. Adrian L. Mitchell, U.S. Army. William Dean Richardson, U.S. Army. Omar G. Roebuck, U.S. Marine Corps. Anthony R. Servin, U.S. Marine Corps. Jason Andrew Tetrolt, U.S. Marine Corps. Marcus Allen Tynes, U.S. Army. Fabricio Ianisoto, U.S. Army. If any of the families of these fallen heroes are here today, we again respectfully ask you to stand as we honor your family who continues to pay the ultimate sacrifice. I ask now that we stand to join me in a moment of silence to really remember what this day is really about, to honor the men and women who sacrificed their lives. So please remain standing in a moment of silence. Thank you. Now it is with our respect and gratitude, we would like to recognize the U.S. Army veterans. So if there are any veterans or active duty members that are here, servicemen and women, please, if you can just put your hand up so we can give you a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite the Knights of Columbus AF Shelbana Assembly to post the memorial wreath and ask you to remember those who have lost their lives in service to our grateful nation. There will be 3 rifle shots fired before taps, so please protect your ears if need to. Please stand.
Our ceremony has now terminated, and thank you very much for being with us.
Want to again just thank everyone this morning for being here today for the 2019 Memorial Day ceremony. I would like to thank the Rancho Verde High School Chamber Choir. They're back right there. Let's give them a round of applause for amazing performance. Our Blue Eagles Honor Guard, our Knights of Columbus as well. Let's give them a round of applause. Ayla Smith as well, and our featured speaker, Colonel Colas. Let's give them a round of applause. I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce, the Military Affairs Committee for volunteering today to help make an event like this possible. Let's give them all a round of applause, including our staff, for making this such a meaningful event. And ladies and gentlemen, in memory of the fallen heroes, I ask that you join us for coffee. We have a reception right over here, right here in the Civic Center for fellowship. Please take a look at the artwork on display created by young students who are inspired for their love of country. Once more, from the bottom of my heart, as mayor of this city, thank you so much for joining us this morning. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Thank you.